My name's Melissa. Welcome to this vinyasa class. We'll start in standing with the feet at least hip width apart, maybe wider. Let your arms come down to your sides and start to twist to one side, turning to the top of your foot. Change to the other side and again roll to the top of the other foot. Allow the arms to follow the movement. Maybe your gaze goes over your shoulder. You can go slowly, you can go more quickly. Feeling that stretch all the way up the side of the body. And then hands come up into cactus shape, cactus pose. And then bring the hands together, elbows together. So you want to feel like you're rounding your back to bring the elbows together. Open up the chest, maybe pull the hands back. And then again, close. Actively trying to press the lower arms together. Open it up and close. Allow the arms to come back down your sides, chin towards the chest, and roll down towards the floor. Arms just hanging. You can certainly bend your knees if you'd like. Take your time. But try to feel like you're moving smoothly. Maybe the back of the hands can touch the floor. Start to roll back up the spine, maybe noticing the work through the legs and through the back as you restack. And when you come towards the top, you'll feel your shoulders shrug up towards your ears and roll down the back. Maybe the chest opens. Roll the shoulders forward, hollowing the chest, heads dropping forward to roll down. And again, I want to find a smooth movement. Right? And I'm moving consciously so I can feel what's happening. Maybe this time you can get the back of the wrists to touch the floor. So folding just a little bit deeper. And then curling back up. Shoulders back, chest open. Shoulders forward, chest hollow. And this one, at the bottom, you're going to stay at the bottom. We'll separate the hands on the mat, at least a good shoulder width apart, and step back to downward facing dog. From downward dog, maybe pressing the heels towards the ground, maybe lifting your sit bones. If you need to shift, if you need to move, get all of that out of your system. And then ripple forward towards the plank. And keeping the toes tucked under, let your hips dip down towards the floor and pull the corners of your shoulders back. So it's like you're coming towards an upward dog position. If it's a lot, allow the knees to come to the mat. Navel in, pull the tail back to downward facing dog. Okay, so your legs are staying more or less straight. Again, lift the heels, ripple forward towards the plank. You could put your knees down if you need to, make it more of a cobra. Come towards your upward dog. And it can be, again, shallow. It doesn't have to be very deep if you're not feeling it. And allow your body to progress into deeper range. Back to downward dog. We'll go one more time. Right, as you come forward, feel more and more opening through the chest and through the front of the hips. Try to feel you're pressing the floor away rather than sinking towards the ground. And then pull your tail back, downward dog. In this downward dog, we're turning the feet. So I'll turn the toes to the left. I will be on the inside edge of the left foot, outside edge of the right foot. Okay? Press your hips back, downward dog. You can shift forward if you'd like, and then go back, downward dog. Come back to center and change the feet. So I'll be on the inner edge of my right, outer edge of the left. Really important to have a strong flex of the feet. And then lift the hips up. Try to make your down dog shape really sharp so you still see that inverted V. It's not rounded, it's not plank. You can stay with it or shift forward, finding that plank with the feet turned to the right, and then push it back. We'll turn the feet back to your regular downward facing dog, and we'll step the right foot forward to the right hand. So take your time, arrange yourself so you're in the position to come towards a high lunge, right foot forward. And in high lunge, the back heel's lifted, the front knee is deeply bent. If you'd like, you can open it up a little bit, finding a little bit more of a crescent lunge if that's a part of your practice. Coming back to neutral, we'll add a twist here. So turning to the right, you might need to bend your back knee. Take your right arm forward to the high lunge. And then warrior two. So turn your back heel down. Warrior two. Don't worry about lengthening your warrior two more than this. We're going to be cycling through those three. So you're going to turn on the back toes and come into high lunge. Right? You were here before. Twist to the right. Arms wide. You could certainly bend your back knee. Sometimes that helps to keep the torso upright. Arms forward to the lunge. And warrior two. So it's tricky on the foot, right? So you want to have those strong ankles. We were working on them just before. High lunge. We'll do one more cycle. Hopefully you're finding your balance. Twisted lunge. High lunge. Warrior two. Come back to the front. Hands to the floor. If you need to rest, if you would like to rest, stay in downward or tabletop, maybe even child's pose. Otherwise, shift forward to plank. You might lower halfway or all the way. Upward dog or cobra. Downward facing dog. Take a moment, take a breath. We'll repeat this for the other side. So left foot forward. And take your space for a nice high lunge. When you get there, just pause. You want to open it up a little bit to more of a crescent lunge. Go for it. And then just return back to neutral high lunge and find a twist. So this time the arm's open to the left. Feel free to bend your back knee. Sweep the left arm forward and you're in high lunge. Turn the right heel down, warrior two. So in a warrior two, you might normally take the leg further back. This one, we'll just keep it where it is so we can transition. Turn the back toes forward so the arms can come up, high lunge. Revolve or twist. Left arm forward. So your challenge is also to try to keep that front knee bent. If you have to come out in between, that's okay, right? But if you're looking for a little more challenge, you might try to keep the front knee bent. Lunge. Final cycle through. Twist. Lunge. Warrior two. And lunge. Hands to the mat. Downward table or child's pose. Otherwise shifting forward to plank. Lowering halfway. Upward facing. And downward facing. Take a moment or two. Recover your breath. Noticing how you feel. We'll go forward with the right foot again for the high lunge. From high lunge, we're coming to pyramid pose. So for pyramid pose, we'll straighten the front leg
Hands can come to the mat. Reach your chest forward. Hands could also be on blocks, or if you have a chair or surface you'd like to use to place your hands, you can use your hands on that surface as well. Bend your front knee, and then inhale, come back up to the high lunge. We're going to be stepping into the right foot towards a warrior three with the hands on the floor, or hands on blocks, or hands on a surface. So as I step into my right foot, I'll bring my hands forward and lift the left heel. So here hands could be on, again, like I said, a surface. Here I'll just demonstrate if I use my sofa. Right, the chest is a little bit higher. Totally okay though, if as long as I'm keeping most of the work in my right leg opposed to my hands, I'm still doing plenty of work, right? So again, hands could be on the floor, hands could be on your surface, or if you'd like, hands could even come towards the right leg, just below the knee perhaps. Just concentrate and try to hold. So wherever you are, go ahead, start to bend your right knee and come back to your lunge. From your lunge, we're going to add a twist. So if you need to, back knee can come to the floor, otherwise hands to heart. Left elbow to the outside of the right knee, and you'll look up and over your right shoulder. Lift your chest towards your thumbs, reach the crown of your head forward, and fire up the back leg if it's off the floor. Right, I'd like you to focus on your rotation, your twist, more so than the lunge. And then as you look down to the floor, we'll bring the hands to the mat, stepping back and flowing if it's a part of your practice, or skipping that if it's not. So lowering, upward facing, and downward facing. Breathe to recover your breath, to reset your body. Right, so if you're modifying throughout, that's perfect. Do what you need to do. One side might not always be the same as the other side. We'll step the left foot forward. Come up for your high lunge. We're coming forward for pyramid. So again, pyramid pose, front leg comes to straight as you reach forward. Now you could stop here if you'd rather not go as far, or if it's really challenging on the hamstrings. You could also put your back knee on the floor, right? Think of drawing the left hip back and the right hip forward. Chest is forward as well. Bend the front knee, coming back to lunge. And then stepping forward for your warrior three. So I'd like to have the hands down to begin. Some of us will stay with the hands down. Again, down could be on your blocks, on your sofa, on the floor, right? All good choices. With the hands on the floor, it gives you an opportunity to square the hips, right? You want to find that strength first. If you are going further, you might take your hands to your left shin, trying to hold the same depth, right? But without the support of the hands, and that's definitely more challenging. And then as you take the right foot way back, you'll come back to the high lunge. We're trying as best as you can. Hands towards the heart. We will add our twist. So know that you can put your back knee on the floor for your twist, right? Transition's just more challenging, right? If you're keeping yourself in the lunge throughout. So everybody's practice is at a different place. Do what works best for you. I'm pushing down through the left hand to lift the chest up towards the thumbs. I'm leaning my shoulders back too. Hands will come back to the mat, stepping back to flow out More taking rest. And just a breath or two here in your downward facing. Taking child's pose as well if that's something you feel you need. We'll come forward on the mat. Lift the chest halfway and exhale to fold. Inhale, standing up. So we'll take some back bends from standing. Option to do an interlace of the hands. After the second one, I'll demonstrate it. You can skip it out and stay with the first version that we're doing and just repeat that one as well. Okay, so we'll start with the hands pointed down, right? Fingers pointing down. That just helps get the chest more open. My feet are hip width, maybe a little bit more than hip width apart, and I'm thinking about elbows coming together. As the elbows come together, I press through the feet to lift the front of the hips forward and up. Same with the chest, forward and up. And elbows more close together widens more across the chest. Just walking the eyes across the ceiling, but still maintaining a bit of support through the neck. And for this first one, I will keep my hands on my low back. And I'll just feel like I can grow out of that place of pressure, right, where my hands are meeting my hips. And then slowly, carefully bring yourself back up. Hands come to the thighs just above the knees, and I'm bending my knees and reaching my chest a little bit forward. So I'm leaning here. I'm not doing any work to hold a neutral spine because I'm just completely putting my weight into my arms. Hands are on the legs. So this is my recovery position. Allows me to rest in a neutral position. And again, if you happen to be one of those people that feels dizzy when you go backwards, take more time to rest, right? We're going to go back a second time and then a third time for this back bend. After you've set your back bend and you feel you've gone as far back as possible with your hands here on your low back, feel free to interlace your fingers and pull your knuckles down towards the floor. You might find more space to go further back. As you press into your feet, send the hips forward and the chest up. Take your time. If you feel more comfortable or more secure with your hands remaining on your back, please keep them there. Otherwise, interlace your hands and reach your knuckles towards the back of your heels. Keep slingshotting your chest forward and up. So it's like your heart and your knuckles are moving in opposite directions. And then as you slowly come up, hands come to the thighs, bend the knees, and again, just rest. Take some deep breaths. Notice any areas in your body where you feel you might be accumulating tension, and see if there is a way to execute your pose maybe without firing up those areas quite so much. So we'll go one more time to find our standing back bend. If you've had enough and you just need to sit down or take a rest, please do. Last time, hands on the low back, pressing into the feet, lift the chest, take the elbows back, find your back bend, maybe add the interlaced hands. Restack when you feel you've had enough. Hands on the thighs, and rest. So I find it really helpful to take a good rest between big efforts, especially if they are back bend efforts. It just allows your nervous system to reset, feel like you're in a safe place, so that if you do choose to go again, you'll have your full energy. So from here, I'm going to bring the hands towards the floor and take a flow. If you don't want to flow, again, you can just hang out and tabletop downward dog, child's pose. Hands on the floor, step back down dog. Possibly shifting forward, lower, upward, and downward. We'll come to a seated position. So I'm going to turn to the side to face you so you can more easily see what I'm doing with the legs. But the feet are going to be wide, and for some of us, you might need to bend the knees, right, in order to sit up tall. But if you can sit up tall and have a straighter leg, then by all means. Key is to keep the feet flexed so you can really press down and anchor so that you're not wobbling around here. Right hand is going to reach to the outside of the left foot. Left hand is just on the floor behind me, and it's like I'm sending my chest out to the left of my left leg. I'll change sides, so left hand to the outside of the right foot, reaching the chest, right hand is behind me. Try to keep your left sit bone on the floor here. And then as I come back, this time I'm placing the left hand just on the floor beside me. So just on the floor, and the right hand is gonna go up. I'm going to press into the hand on the floor and press into the feet and try to lift my hips. Legs stay straight. Good, and just come down. We'll try it on the other side. Right hand on the floor, press down through the feet, press down through this right hand, left hand's up. Imagine you're being pulled up by this hand in the air and just lift. Feel the hips lifting, legs are straight. Good, and come down. So I'm not doing a back bend there, I'm purely lifting up. We'll try it one more time. So reach to the outside of your left, reach to the outside of your right, left hand beside you, right hand reaches to the ceiling. Come down, so you're really squeezing the quads. Right hand down, lift up, pressing down through the heels. Good, come down, amazing. If you'd like, keep your feet apart. It's a little more challenging. If that's not available, you can bring your feet together. And we're just gonna take a forward fold. So to forward fold, right, super challenging for a lot of people. Feel free to bend your knees. Bending your knees will give you a little more space through your low back and maybe make it a bit more accessible. Straight legs also, if that's where you're at. Just reaching forward so as to avoid hunching forward, right, or really excessively rounding. And then we'll just inhale to sit up. We'll close the legs and lie down. So if you'd like a little bonus work, roll down, controlling all the way to the floor. We'll take the knees to the chest. Feels good to just hug in after the legs have been wide for such a long time. And then option here to take a happy baby. So if you're feeling good, you just want to stay where you are, that's fine. Otherwise, happy baby, heels stacking above the knees creeping down to the floor beside the ribs. I'm thinking about the four corners of my back and pressing them down to the ground. My head, neck, and shoulders are all relaxed. I'll release my left foot, so I can just bring the left foot to the floor. And both hands on the right, bring the right knee down just a touch more. Not so much that you roll over to the right, but more just see how much you can bring that knee towards the ground. Okay, switch sides. So left foot in both hands, right foot to the floor. Okay, so I was about this deep with both. And then as I just relax, I might get the knee closer towards the mat. And as the foot goes down, as the knee goes down, right, I don't want to rock my whole body to turn onto the left side, so you do want to have some grounding down on the right side. Go ahead, let go. And from here, setting up for your final Shavasana, your final rest. I like my feet about a hip width apart or almost mat width apart. Hands
the side knee, palms up. You might lift the upper back and bring the shoulder blades slightly together. Close your eyes. Soften your face. Start to bring your awareness inwards. Check in with what you feel. See if you can relax. If you have more time to stay here in your resting pose, maybe another 3 or 4 minutes, that would be ideal. But if you need to get on with your day, start to bring your awareness back to your fingers and your toes, your wrists and your ankles. Maybe sliding the legs together and reaching the arms up over your head for a lengthening stretch. Allow your knees to come up and roll to one side. And spend as long as you'd like here on your side. And when you're ready, coming up to sit. Thank you so much for sharing your day with me. Thank you for your energy, for practicing yoga, and especially for all of your efforts. Have a wonderful rest of your day.